Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos sent a homicide detective sergeant who's never investigated a homicide to Nancy Guthrie's case. We had this discussion with the president of the Pima County Union, Deputies Union, Sergeant Aaron Cross, on February 27th, over a month ago. Aaron told you and I, Joe, as we were live about this. So to me, when I heard it, I was like, wait a minute, this really isn't breaking news. We knew about this. So I want to go to, obviously, Ed first, because Ed is on a break, on assignment, and Ed's joining us remotely from an undisclosed location. Ed, your thoughts on this breaking news? That's not really breaking news.
That's correct. It's not breaking news. We knew about it. It's just, another brick in the wall for this sheriff's leadership skills, that, he would assign somebody like this to this high-profile investigation with no experience in homicide investigations. If you don't have experiences, then you're never really truly going to know what the right things to do are and what the wrong things to do are. And, the only way that you come good at conducting criminal investigations is experience.
So if Sheriff Nanos had any smarts, he would have said, holy shiitake mushrooms, let me get my best guys here, and I'll put my other guys as backup for them that have no experience, and let's collect the doormat. Let's do a good forensic scrub. Let's make a crime scene that's wide and deep. Let's shut down the street that leads to Nancy Guthrie's, because we know that she was taken out of there and there had to have been a route. And they had news reporters camped out right across the street. And as a matter of fact, right on their property line in the early stages of this. So if they would have, and I'm going to go to Ed next, if they would have did the right thing as crime scene investigators or somebody with experience, that whole freaking street would have been closed down for at least 48 hours minimum.
Yeah, well, I mean, from a forensic perspective, it would have been handled much differently. If I were there, I would have demanded at least two teams, one team for the exterior of the property, one team for the interior, 3D laser scanned, sketch, photograph, top to bottom, drones up in the air, taking aerial photographs, surveying the area. There's no way I would have left that doormat by the front entrance right next to the blood drops that are on the portico floor. I would have scooped that up. Plus, I don't know what's inside, and we still haven't truly established the point of entry from things that are currently being reported. It appears that it might have been the back door into the location and exiting the front door with Miss Guthrie. So there would be a tremendous amount of work being done here. In addition, there would be all types of forensic evidence search for: hairs and fibers, blood, DNA, fingerprints, footwear impressions. I imagine the floor inside of that house probably is tiled. And I know that the suspect reached into plant life over there. And so there could be transfer of all types of evidence.
And if I know you, Ed, there may have been a situation inside that house that you would have ripped up carpeting, pieces of tile, pieces of laminate floor.
Yeah.
That you deemed to be impertinent and important for this investigation. You would have requested that to be removed, or removed it yourself if you could.
Right. If I felt I couldn't process it properly in the field to get the best results, then I always have a saying with my students: when in doubt, cut it out and submit it to the lab. All right. Yeah. If you don't think you can handle that there in the field, if you don't have the skill sets, the equipment, or the training and experience to do it in the field, then submit it to the lab. I mean, I've cut out sections of concrete sidewalk. I've cut out sections of a housing authority concrete wall and submitted it to the lab.
So remember, they plead to the public, hey, look at your rings, go back and look in these specific dates. And then we saw guys with backpacks going through people's property and going through on their property, looking in cars, looking to jump over brick walls. This is not something that's new to Pima County. They have a burglary problem. But this abduction of Nancy Guthrie, which ultimately, in my opinion, is going to turn into a homicide, started out with somebody breaching her property and breaching her home, whether the doors were left open, whether they talk about these propped open doors, there's sliding doors on the other side of the property. There's all different kinds of points of entry. The garage door. When the garage door opened up, there was an opportunity there for someone that's laying in wait to slip on in, right? With that door open.
Think about the surveillance videos that we've seen aired by the news showed several locations of suspicious characters at night going around people's properties and looking at ways to get into the property. In this case, we now know too that perp was wearing the same clothing, came a couple days earlier and was surveying the property here. Burglaries at night when people are inside the house are very, very dangerous. Okay. And this is a senior citizen community, this area here. The odds are that these burglars are going to potentially be confronted by the occupants of these residences.
Let's circle back to the doormat just for a second, Joe. If you took a basic crime scene or crime scene preservation, as they gave us in the police academy, they tell you, make your crime scene big, take everything, collect as much as you can or preserve as much as you can and let the professionals take it. Why do you think they missed that mat, Joe? And why did they never take it? I think it's still there.
It's just incompetence. That's all it is. Why didn't they take it? And you and I and Ed have beat this down so many times. I have said from the beginning, as I have said on so many shows, there is nothing wrong with securing that entire house, the surrounding area, and then narrowing it down as you need it, but leaving somebody there so you could go back in. But every time we looked at the camera crews from all the stations, there's the mat. There's the box that was delivered still to the side over there. And there's a pizza delivery guy delivering pizza while they have deputies on the scene. And to us, that doesn't make sense. And we criticize them for it because it should never be done under any circumstances, because your job is to secure that crime scene so it's not contaminated and that you could present a good case in court. So good luck trying to explain some of those things later on. Unless you have the evidence that's going to nail people from within the house. That's going to be the key to this. But that map, by all means, should have been taken away. Should have been taken away right then and there.
This gives us a great overview of the crime scene tape here. You see it goes out and around to this truck, but it doesn't really go further past here. You got a home here. You got a home back here. You got a home over here to the upper left. And here's YouTubers, live streamers, media back here. You could see the boom lights and the cameras and tripods set up. This is a situation where we had Brian Entin, our good friend, and many others walk up this driveway with no police car here on day 2. And they were walked right up here, maybe touching the handrail going up, maybe brushing up against it, into this vestibule, and taking videos and pictures of the blood and the debris there and the mat that still was there. Brian Entin yesterday went out with the permission of the property owner, walked around the back here and took video and pictures of the 2 doors. But I'm saying early on, this was a free-for-all. This is now not a crime scene anymore. They let it open day 2, and then they got the scrutiny, and then they closed it again. This whole situation at Pima County Sheriff's, the Catalina Foothills, it's just troubling, to say the least, the way it was handled from the get-go. And as Ed always says, garbage in, garbage out. You can't fix something that you're already screwed up. So you can't go back here.
And if you minimize the press, you minimize the questions that are being directed to you. So he's like, dancing around all this because he knows he said things he shouldn't have said. He also knows that he's the one that's going to get the blame for everything that went wrong because he is the head of the investigation. All right. And this is why he's minimizing his exposure to the press.
There's a motive for everything. These things, this is not a crime of chance. This guy didn't just stumble across Nancy Guthrie's home and say, let me take an ailing 84-year-old woman who has many issues, and mobility was one of them. This is a targeted thing. They went to that home with a purpose to do something. In my opinion, it's for a financial benefit. Joe.
Absolutely. The financial end of this is what we're looking for. You could have somebody that just happened upon it, but I don't think so because that back door scenario, as well as the front door, tells us different. But what could this woman possibly have on the inside of that house that they want? So maybe she did have cash around someplace. Maybe she had valuables. They're not going to tell us if any valuables are missing, because I wouldn't. I would wait to see where these valuables possibly turn up, pawn shops, whatever. So that's one aspect of it. But to have that knowledge of that front doorbell, and to have the knowledge of the backyard with this, and where you could be seen and where you won't be seen, that's somebody who planned this, and somebody probably planned it with the help of somebody else who also had intimate knowledge of this house. But once again, what would the gain be?
Right.
It would have to be something worth the risk of going in there. You have to speculate, and you have to think like an investigator and prepare for any scenario. Hopefully they have the evidence that's telling them what they need to know. They just have to get the direction of where to go with it based on, like I said, the evidence or the lack of.